Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
Coal mine, and we used to work 28 hours a day, come back home, get beat by Pa, because we were only 8 years old at the time, get paid in like shilling, and that used to be enough for boss and pie home, and we were grateful for beating, because in them days people were made of sterner stuff. A Yorkshireman from 2 weeks ago.
Or the four Yorkshiremen. Man, that. I think that might be my absolute favorite comedy skit of all time.
There was a one-off TV movie type thing, and it had a lot of people from Monty Python's Flying Circus in it, set in Yorkshire. And there was some of the best fucking lines that have ever been said on TV were from that TV movie thing. Like, there's this guy who goes into rob a bank, and he's standing over the bank manager. He's just looming over the bank manager like this. He says, "Stand up! Go on, stand up and open safe." And the bank manager's just like, "I am standing up." And they're later recounting the best black pudding they've ever had in their life. And this man wins the debate by saying, "I once had black pudding that was so black even white bits were black."
So, welcome. This week, Cloud Imperium Games have started a ship showdown where they have the community weigh in on which ships they prefer. Which is, as we all know, completely ridiculous because we at Relay have already scientifically rated almost all of Star Citizen's ships. And we know for a fact, provable scientific fact, that the best ships are the Avenger, the Eclipse, the Reclaimer, the Ares, the Emissar, the Freelancer Max, the Hull B, and the Scorpius. Scientifically proven. This is the way. So, welcome to the Relay Station.
There
Johnny?
Oh, you wanted something silly instead. Right. Sorry. My apologies. Here we go. Razzle dazzle frazzle tazzle. Shiver has 4 nipple tassels. Eric rides a bike on Fridays over molten lava parties. Once a week I like to bathe in all my face hair that I shave. Welcome to the relay station.
I like that one better.
Name of Yorkshire comedy was called Testing of Eric Althwaite. The most Yorkshire name for anything ever.
Yep.
So, if anybody's wondering, we are on the fourth face-off of round 1 of the ship showdown. The C2 Hercules defeated the Caterpillar. The Reclaimer defeated the Argo Mole. And the Carrack defeated the Constellation Andromeda.
Actually, hang on. I gotta check this. So, can you list the first 2 again, please? Sorry.
The C2 Hercules defeated the Caterpillar.
Okay, Hercules was a B, and the Caterpillar was a C. That makes sense. Checks out. Carry on.
The Reclaimer beat the Mole.
Obviously.
And the Carrack beat the Constellation Andromeda, which you're going to lose on because you rated the Carrack the lowest ship that there is. So...
No, actually, I rated both of them E. They are both
did you?
E's.
So it's a tie. Okay,
It's a
there
tie.
you go.
And I actually voted for the Carrack in that because between the 2 worst ships, the Carrack is slightly better than the Connie. Shiver, you looked like you had something to say.
Your ship opinions are bad, and so is your geography skills because you're in Canada, not Arizona.
Good job reading backwards.
And those are it almost
It's only-
sounds the same backwards,
o-
actually.
It's only backwards on this stream. It's not backwards in Discord.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Does it make sense? It doesn't make any sense
It
to
doesn't
me.
make any sense
Why
to
is
me
it
either.
reverse? Why is Streamlabs reversing cameras?
Honestly, it's probably I did something like this at some point, and I have to like... Oh, no. It doesn't do it. All right. No idea why. Who knows? It's a mystery.
I don't know.
It's a mystery. Hello, everyone.
Mirrors. How do they work?
No one has ever found out how mirrors work.
Or magnets. Or pasta. Or...
Pasta.
Yeah,
And?
Nobody knows how pasta works. Why is it that spaghetti with sauce and meatballs and parmigiana is so much better than, like, ditari with sauce and meatballs and parmigiana? There are levels of pasta quality, but they're all the same bloody thing.
Yep.
Cass is just sat there next to her going, oh god, he's on the fucking pasta rant again.
Are we right? Are we right? Are we right? Yes.
Probably, yeah. All right, welcome to
What is
to
the
the
difference between noodles and spaghetti?
Well, spaghetti are noodles. They're literally spaghetti noodles. Otherwise known as spaghetti-naddles.
Now I have to ask you, Shiver, what are your favorite noodles?
Either soba or ramen because, you know, I'm a cheap whore.
I'm an udon
Hey,
person.
it's not cheap here.
Oh, udon. What, ramen?
No, not here. It's like $20 a bowl for a good bowl of ramen.
What the flying?
For
Well,
like
it depends what you mean. It depends what you mean. If he's talking about the packaged stuff, it's like 80
Oh,
cents.
yeah.
If you're talking about the, like, if you go to a restaurant, it's like $20.
It's like £5 for a really good bowl of ramen here.
But there's
Okay.
only one place in this city that does a good bowl of ramen. It's the only place to go. Right? And they have lineups outside their store every day because it's the only place to get like good ramen. And they do good ramen.
And it's $20.
It's $20 a bowl.
There you go.
and it's worth every penny to the point that you're like, yes, I'd like a second bowl. My stomach can't fit it.
I would
But
like
damn it,
that
I
ramen.
don't care.
I saw this fantastic advert. It was a British Airways advert trying to advertise flights to Japan. And it was like, come and see all the authentic Japanese culture and stuff. And it said authentic Japanese ramen. And it's like, oh.
All right, well, welcome to the Star Citizen podcast, where we talk about Star Citizen.
And ramen.
And ramen. Well, this could all be about Star Citizen, because we really should... there's a genuine question here to be asked, because, one, it's a video game, and in basically all video games, at some point you can order ramen, because it's just, a classic dish in video game culture, because...
We already have the Big Benny's noodles.
Yes, but here's my question is, when are we going to see that food tech that we saw actually be employed for ramen? And have they, done 3D scans of someone slowly eating a bowl of ramen so that, you get the proper diminishment of ingredients at a time? Because, I don't know about you guys, but I eat all the noodles first, and then I slowly go through the liquid. But...
No, not me.
Wait, what about all the other bits?
Those I go through with the noodles. I eat all of the good bits, and then just, drink the bowl at the end.
Oh, yeah, that's what you meant to do. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't do it the right way.
No?
No.
Star Citizen
basically
podcast.
I'm basically 50-50 it the whole way.
You can actually get an older style of ramen where you just get the bowl of soup and then the noodles and everything separately, and you just put it in yourself.
They
It's my
actually
wife.
do that here. They started doing that here for delivery. If you wanted to get ramen food, they just separate everything out, and it's all in separate packages, and then you put it all together yourself, so it doesn't, get crappy along the way.
Yeah. I need to go get some ramen. It's so good. But it's like a half hour.
Hurry after this.
It's a half-hour drive for me to get it, and then a half-hour drive to get it back home, and it's like...
Cold. You have to eat it there.
Yeah. But they don't do any eat-in service right now, because, COVID.
Okay.
Okay, so...
Sit on the side of on the sidewalk.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's downtown Ottawa, and it's grody.
That's not a great thing, yeah.
Welcome
There's
to...
this place. No, we're not finished talking about
I
ramen.
keep trying!
There's this place called Lalaport. It's a biggish mall, and they do my favorite ramen, and it's a fish-based ramen.
Ooh.
And it's simple. It is dirt simple. It's basically your choice of ramen is how many slices of pork do you want, how many eggs do you want, and that's all they do. And there's this massive queue for it because it is so fucking good. But it's fish-based, so it's not traditional ramen. It's so good. And then there's this other place. I think it's Titanic Hodan, and they've got loads of different types of ramen, including a mozzarella cheese-based ramen.
Really?
What? Interesting.
And I like their black sesame ramen.
I need to
I'm
get
just
some ramen.
because I'm doing it. This is the website for the good stuff in Ottawa.
That's what I.
Oh, they do gyoza as well. That's good.
Oh yeah, really good. Okay. Hello everyone. I'm disappointed that nobody in
So everyone,
chat.
tell us, what are your favorite ramens?
Wow, that
Ooh.
was fast.
What was fast? Ooh, thank you very much, Haas.
No.
No, that's that needs to get rid of.
Yeah. That's Twitch. That's Twitch being horrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yep.
Do you get LTI on your ramen? No, I don't think so. They would go bankrupt. Can you imagine every time you finish your bowl, I would like to claim my insurance on this bowl of ramen.
I mean, isn't that the idea behind all you can eat? All I want to know what everyone else thinks of ramen in chat while we slowly move on to Star Citizen, because I really want some ramen right now. But yeah, so we are what, 1 month away from Citizencon?
Less than a month. Well,
1 month.
it's exactly 4 weeks from today.
Yeah, so we are exactly 1 month away from Citizencon. I was actually surprised by this week's Inside Star Citizen, to be honest.
Why is that?
It was more meaty than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good. There's a
Considering
lot of great visuals.
considering we've had some not great episodes recently, that one was actually kind of informative. Hey Bluesy, hey Mazer, how's it going? So let's actually just move right into that. And here we go. Limping along. What?
You want to come tell us what your favorite miso is? Miso? Ramen is? Yeah, your favorite ramen. Yeah. Skim? Come here and say it, because I can't. Come say it for everyone else, because my Japanese pronunciation is terrible. What kind of ramen?
これは二郎系ラーメン。
Jiroke?
二郎系ラーメン、チーズラーメンだよ。
Jiroke
二
ramen.
郎系 is very stamina, very volume, ほら。
Don't try and say they're all like bowls of swimming pool sized bowls.
All right, so medical and health gameplay, dealing with healing. I don't know. Where do you guys want to start with this?
At the ramen bar. Had too much ramen,
If you have too much.
indigestion.
If you have too much ramen, are you full? Will you move in that like slow full walk? And have they fully motion capped that?
Questions.
They are.
We'll be eating it properly with chopsticks, or are they going to give us a fork and a spoon?
Fork?
I've thoroughly derailed this. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's cool how they managed to get the rig on the player models to do this, because physicalized damage, each section of the body actually matters. Being shot in the leg is going to give you a real bad time. The problem I can see gameplay wise is you fought your way through this massive cave or something like that. You're with your friends and you're limping. You're holding down W for half an hour to get back to your ship, and has everyone got to wait for you? Can they carry you? Because I know that they have talked about carrying you, and then if they're going to carry you, does that mean what's going to happen with the loot? How are you going to sort that out? Because obviously you're not going to be able to carry as much loot as you would if you weren't carrying a body, and so on and so on. It's all decisions like that you have to take into account, as well as the fact.
Hey, gameplay.
Well,
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's going to be an interesting balance, and I don't even know how much of a balance there's going to be, because this is Star Citizen, to be honest. But one of the things that most games do away with is the complicated aspects of healing, because it sucks and isn't fun. Generally, right? That's why, in Battlefield games, to revive someone, you just hit them with paddles and they're back up. It's why in tons of games you pick up a health kit that's lying on the ground and you're good. Or why for so long we've had, if you stop taking damage for a certain amount of time, you regenerate health, because the other options are difficult, right? And Star Citizen
I don't think
doesn't.
they're necessarily unfun. I just think they're hard to make, and from a gameplay designer perspective. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I think that making healing gameplay fun is hard for
Yes.
gameplay designers.
Okay, yes, but I don't know if what CIG are doing here is going to be fun or not.
No, and we won't know until we can do it. And you might never find it fun, but there might be other people who do. So
There might. But like Shivers was saying, one of the issues going to be if you've got a bunch of people or even if you're alone and you're at the very end of a cave and you misjudge a jump and take a little bit too much damage on that last jump and break a leg, and you're like, well, now what? I'm gonna move at a limp. Can I climb anymore? Can I still make it out of the cave? What are the options? Because there's no fast travel. There's no like instant
keep in mind
healing.
they explained to you in the episode what the options are.
Yeah, the options are you die.
No.
I'm
have
saying if
various drugs that do various things. There are certain amounts of damage you can take that you can't fix using drugs.
Yeah. But we're talking about that like you're stuck at the bottom of a cave and have now hurt yourself.
So your buddy drags you out by the collar.
Or if you're on your own, you hope to fuck that you've got drugs,
The right drugs too.
which is a good life philosophy.
I think it's gonna be interesting. I like the your retina detaching for head damage. It's quite extreme, but all right. And I like that they were talking about like when you've had enough head trauma, like a slight breeze can knock you over because that. Yep.
I actually really love that shot where the wind gusted and the guy's like,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, I think it's right
The
up here.
effects of damage, giving it that little bit more depth than just, I've got to hold W for half an hour to get back to my ship. It's actually going to affect, depending on where you hit, your aim, your character's balance, your own vision, things like that. It's a nice little touch.
I think also having it all fully animated like that will also make it more compelling for other people to help you. If your character is moving completely normally and you're like, I'm hurt, and then other people are gonna be like, okay.
I think you're gonna get a lot of the like, I'm hurt, and your team's gonna look at you and be like, we'll see you back at base. Bam.
Yeah, but then they're fucked because they get horrible reputation penalties for murdering somebody.
Do you immediately get that reputation?
Yes, you do.
Isn't it?
Well, I would have. I
only
think
in
so.
the higher security areas. and
Oh,
things
yeah.
Like that, where that's going to be a major. And that is a good point though.
I mean, you can commit suicide, but if your party member pops you in the head because you're too slow, they're gonna get fucked reputation-wise.
Maybe. I don't know. It's going to depend on where you are and
I
what
mean-
the situation is.
Of course, yeah.
You have also got a certain amount of time where there is still brain activity after being killed, like 20 minutes or so. So if you respawn close enough and you've got a ship fast enough, could you go back and save your own body?
Shiver. One of these days. Hey, Parker, how's it going? I'm also interested to see how much further they take this. Well, we know cybernetics are going to be a thing, right?
Yep.
And you should only need cybernetics for the portion of the limb that's destroyed. So, are they going to further map this to the damage you take specifically hurts, hand, forearm, upper arm, foot, lower leg, upper leg?
To date, they've only talked about limbs. So your arm is your arm.
Yes. But are they
And
going to
so-
expand that?
They might, but so far they haven't decided to go that far.
I'd be interested to see if they expand that, and I'd also be interested to see them expand the chest and head injuries, because like I know that they're talking about your retinas are detaching, but that seems more like I don't know, a frontal face injury to me than like, and it would be really annoying in the game, but given everything else that CIG are doing, what about a persistent ringing?
Oh, fuck off. No, no,
I
thank you.
expected might actually happen with head damage.
And
Cybernetic ears, is that what you're saying we need?
well, when it comes to chest damage, like, are you talking a gut wound and you're going to slowly bleed out and die, or are you talking lung damage that should severely reduce your stamina, but nothing like what extent? This is, as with everything CIG does, what you have to do is you have to look at what they're doing now, look at the state of things now, and then see, okay, how far could we take this? And then you say, okay, that's a given. And then you say, what is the extreme that we can take this to? Like, how can we take this, dial it up to 2,000, multiply it by 2, and then go way beyond that? And that is what CIG are going to do. So what is the most ridiculous thing CIG could do?
You have to actually do sutures on the person's arm, and you need to have VR to do that, right? Because you need to be able to do the like motion, where you're, yeah. I think that's pretty much
Yeah.
the limit.
Okay.
Will this also eventually extend into illnesses, disease, and the like?
It should. I mean,
Radiation poisoning?
They're all about
I was
this.
thinking space syphilis.
Oh, space syphilis. Interesting. But they're all into this like systemic gameplay and doing things from a universe perspective. They should totally have like viruses and various illnesses that they can watch spread through the population of the universe. It would be very interesting.
Literal space syphilis.
Yeah.
There will be a group of people who refuse to wear their helmets. Space doesn't exist. Space syphilis isn't real. Oxygen isn't provable.
Oh, I love it.
We all want our Pulp Fiction adrenaline shot moment.
I think I like that they're making it more detailed than standard games. Personally. I mean, we should have seen it coming. They have a hospital ship.
I mean, we have seen it coming. We knew this was coming. This is the Death of a Spaceman, but they're finally starting to implement Death of a Spaceman. And this is coming in 3.15, right? This is coming in the next patch.
Some of it is,
yeah.
yes. Not all of the gameplay systems will be working properly in the next patch.
And they'll probably all be very broken, and you'll be standing on your ship, and suddenly your whole right eye will fall out of the socket. And you'll suddenly have split vision between the eye that's still in your head and the right eye that's rolling around, and you have to try and catch it, and then click F to reinsert.
I love it. Yes, please. But yeah, I think the heavy leg injury is going to be rough on people having to crawl prone.
The one thing that I will say is I really hope that they do gamify this a little bit. It's the future. When I inject myself with something that's supposed to heal my wounds, or maybe not like up my health, but when I inject myself with something that's supposed to give me a temporary fix from a broken leg, give me that temporary fix. Like, let me work at full 100%. So I'm down in the bottom of that cave. I give myself a shot. I can get up and out of that cave. And yeah, I still have to get to a hospital to get it fixed. But don't stick me there. Don't let me get stuck there. It will mean that keeping well supplied is going to be important, and you're going to have to make actual decisions because inventory space on your rig is at a premium. You're going to want to have those, and you'll be like, do I sacrifice the like heal my head EpiPen for an extra mag?
Well, don't forget, we're dancing around one of the main things that this is either going to be, well, is the introduction of, is medical as a career.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the thing is, like, yeah, you might get screwed, but that's when you know, put out a beacon. I will pay 1,000 UEC for someone to come save my ass.
Well,
I'm stuck.
And there's something that I thought was really interesting. One, like you're saying with that, you'll now have room in your squad of 4 people for someone that's like, look, all I've got is a pistol, but I've stocked enough meds to help all of us twice over. And you'll be like, yeah, okay, I'm taking him. Yes, good, thank you.
Yes.
You know,
Give me
that's
that
going to be important. But also, one of the things they were talking about is even when you're downed, this is going to depend on the amount of damage you take before you go down. There will be time before you die, right?
Yep.
And they were saying, you know, half hour, an hour, like significant amounts of time before you die. They were saying it more in
What are
the...
you doing for that amount of time? Is all you can do crawl?
You can't even
Go
crawl.
prone? So
No,
what the
it's-
fuck am I
it's to
supposed
give
to
it-
do? Half an hour
it's-
to an hour, just sit there
the-
and pick me nose.
So
You
but-
don't have to do that, Shiver. It's an option to allow someone to come rescue you. There are lots of other games that have done that.
It's more
No,
for
very true.
you're in a party with 4 other guys. You go down and you're like, well, I'm gonna wait because they're still clearing. You go down and you're just
you're
like
in a party with 4 other
you're
guys. and
in
you
a
go
party.
down.
You go
A
down
real mouthful.
and you know you go down hard.
Yeah,
you know.
no. You'd be choking to death.
Yeah. But the idea is, if they're still around and still alive, when they clear the room or whatever, they can bring you back.
True. But then you're not always going to be in an orgy, and you may have a friend
Why not?
that's, you know, sometimes just strike out. You may have a friend that's, you know, 10, 20 minutes away in the same planet, same solar system, whatever, and you call out for him. Yes, all right. It's an option for you to do. You don't have to do this, but it's going to be the one that you want because you don't want to lose all of your shit. And yes, it is a risk to just be lying there like a crippled tortoise, waiting for your friend and hoping that no one's going to show up and shoot you in the fucking head. But it is still going to be the one that you want primarily. And at the end of the day, that is going to be X amount of time just sat there waiting.
But that's CIG.
And you're the one that complains about fucking travel times.
Oh no, I hate it. CIG have made clear that they don't care as much about our time as they do about realistic gameplay.
And don't do it.
No,
Kill yourself with the big button and then go get your
no,
shit.
Eric, no.
What's
You
the
gotta
problem?
wait. No. We have to wait till next week because next week is going to be the second part of this where they're going to say exactly what you lose when you do that. And I think that's important because we're going to have to see how badly they're going to punish you for dying. Because what they're doing... No, hang on. Because what they are doing...
Yeah, you're going to wait a week and you get fuck all.
What
Die, you don't come back.
What they're doing is they are essentially saying, never go play alone.
But that's
No.
counter to what Chris Roberts said at the start of, we want solo gameplay to be viable.
Is this going to be viable if you go out on your own and you go down and you lose all your stuff? No, that's no longer viable.
Well,
So
then you're just catastrophizing though. It's like, well, if I'm super shitty prepared and I suck as a player and I do all the things wrong,
No,
and
Eric.
everyone hates me and I can't make beacons, and I don't know.
Yeah,
No, hang on.
That is a
Before
fair
other
point.
things
No,
go
it is
wrong.
not. Hang on, because if you go down, no, that is absolutely not a fair point. Because if you
Okay.
let's say I am prepared, right? I am prepared. I've got all of the medications I need. I've got my gun. I go into a battle. I'm not even expecting it. I'm out mining. I get hit by raiders, right? And I go down. But I'm down. I can't use any of those meds that I've got.
Then respawn.
But I'm going to lose everything.
Well, yeah, no. If you lose everything every time you go down, then they're obviously going to have problems.
We have to see.
What I think they should do is you don't lose anything necessarily, except you pay for the hospital fee to do whatever, and but you have to go get your shit.
But if someone else killed you and takes all your shit,
then you're fucked.
Yeah, but that's not. That means that single player gameplay is not viable.
Totally is. You just have to not die.
How do you do that?
I'm joking.
It means that anytime.
Fairness, that Minecraft does that.
It does do that, yeah.
We have to see what extent of the you lose your stuff there is. We also have to see, and this is something I've been trying to lead up this entire time. What would be interesting to see is if you can at some point get armor or get add-ons to armor that, if you do go down, sends out a beacon. And that beacon says, come rescue me, and you can wait 5 minutes to see if anyone accepts it, or it's a beacon that says, this is where my stuff is, come reclaim my stuff and deliver it back to me, and I will pay the insurance fee to recover my equipment.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Conversely, beacon also says, come rescue me, but also says, come rob me, I'm an easy target.
Yep.
Thank you, Henry.
But again, reputation. So.
Yep.
Is there reputation for just looting something, though?
Well, it depends. If you, in order to loot the guy... So, again, this is very dependent on exactly how it works. If you're down and you're laying there and you're waiting for a rescue and you are not dead, you're just, what am I trying to say?
Disabled.
Disabled. If the guy... And the only way to loot your body, which I'm assuming is what you're worried about here, is to kill you. The guy still has to pop you in the head to kill you. And,
Actually, that's
the only way to loot a body, though? Could you just not kill him and just,
take his
empty
stuff.
his pockets, take his wallet?
Shit. I don't know. It depends
Take
on
it.
the way the game works.
Why not?
And then it comes down to, you go down there, you check out the body, and you're like, okay, look.
You go
I'm
down,
gonna
you
take
check out
a
the body,
reputation.
and then you open wide, and
You check out the body, and you're like, okay, I'll take a reputation hit. But if I take this guy's gun, it's worth 20,000 UEC. But I can pay off the bad reputation I'll get for 1,000 UEC profit.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yep. Although I don't think it's going to be cheap to undo your reputation.
No, true. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for consequences in game. As with the information we have right now, and the not fully implemented system either, I can see a lot of potential issues because, yes, Eric is right to say we can just fucking respawn and go, oh, fuck it. But at the same time, that's not going to be many people's first choice because I want my shit. And if I've got to sit here for 20 minutes, 45 minutes, picking my nose, staring at a screen of the sky, that's not great gameplay.
I'm all for consequences in video games. Honestly, some of my favorite video games, period, are the Dark Souls series and Souls-likes, which are all about consequences for your actions. All about it. Yeah, you took off more than you could chew. The issue that I worry about is the lack of being able to solo that this might.
I don't think you should worry about that. I really don't.
Yeah, but Eric, we've said you should.
Tons of leaderships in this game.
But we have said you shouldn't worry about travel times and you shouldn't worry about that. We've said
And you were entirely right. There's drives that go 94% of the speed of light.
I still don't have
And
one.
and
I don't
before
know.
anyone comes up, it's an MMO. You're not supposed to solo it. Well, there are people that like to lone wolf things. CR has said we want solo gameplay to be
Yeah.
viable.
Trucker.
That doesn't necessarily mean one person can pilot a Bengal carrier and be happy as
No.
Larry.
Yeah.
That's not what we're saying. That
Doesn't make any sense.
it you know, yeah, the Aurora is a single-seater ship. You can't really party up in an Aurora. I mean, you could, I suppose, in theory, and that would be quite comical. But it's not
Yeah.
the intended mechanic with the Aurora. There is stuff for solo gameplay, and I don't want to dumb down potential things like, you know, just because you're solo, that means that everyone else has to have these more simplified, easier to deal with death mechanics either. But yeah,
It's not. So to me, it's not the death mechanic.
time will tell, Parker.
Time will tell. Honestly, we're going to find out next week what their current plans are. And then based on those plans, they'll implement them. They'll test it. They'll see if it works. They'll adapt,
They'll
right?
totally
They did say
redesign it if
exactly
it
that.
doesn't work.
And they will.
They
But
did
but
say exactly that.
but the thing we do know about CIG is that they do listen to the community, right? So if we explain our problems when we have them, then they listen to that. So
One
like,
thing I
the-
do not expect them to do is to dumb it down, because it just goes and
Nope.
against their entire.
and I don't
No, I'm not suggesting you've said that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I think some people will tell them it doesn't matter. Medical gameplay's bullshit. I don't want to
This
do
is
it.
friggin'
and
cool.
they'll be like, no, we won't do that. You
Let
know,
me-
we have
let
this
me be
whole
clear.
actor status system they built. They're gonna use it.
Let me be clear. I think this is really, really cool. Something I've hated in a lot of team-based video games is how simple it is to be a medic, right? In Battlefield, you run around and you just throw medkits on the ground and people heal on you. You throw medkit and you throw medkit and you paddle and you get like 90,000 points in a match because you're just running around throwing medkits and hitting people with electric piles. And it's not like it sucks, right?
And that goes back to what Eric was saying, because you need to make medical gameplay fun and engaging. And the only how they encourage medic gameplay in games like Battlefield is you get a shitload of points by just chucking this out.
Yeah.
Because you don't have enough time to sit there and do Battlefield surgery, in fairness. So to encourage people to actually take medic as a role, you just get loads of points for, you know,
Yeah,
chucking
for
out
doing it.
first aid kit. But in Star Citizen, they need to make medic gameplay fun to make people want to actually take the role rather than just be designated to you. You get a pistol with the magazine that's in the handle, and then you're going to be our drugs mule.
But and I think this is this is a great start. I really look forward to seeing, like, we've seen some like medic pen, like not just the EpiPens, right? Those are personal use, but we've seen medic guns as well, which I'm hoping like that will allow you to maybe reduce an injury from a 3 to a high tier injury to a lower tier injury for a certain amount of time to help stabilize someone, to keep your team up and running. And that will be extremely valuable, right? Like good medics will be in demand in Star
I can tell you
Citizen,
right
and
now,
that's important. It's
drugs that allow you to keep walking when your legs are damaged are going to be some of the most important drugs.
Yep.
You know, there's all these things. I really do love how much thought they're putting into, like, if a player's hurt, if their character is hurt, they should act hurt. They should be hurt. Their aim should shake because their arm is hurt. They shouldn't be able to walk because their leg is hurt. You know, their stamina should go through the floor because they have a chest injury. You know, like that type of. I love that. I think it's great.
I really want. Sorry, Harris.
I just want to be really clear. Like, I'm not saying I don't like the medical gameplay. I think it's great. I'm really glad they're going into this much detail. I think it's really important. What I want to see is reasonable punishment for death that won't discourage solo gameplay. That is my only worry.
I completely agree with you. I'm curious what you think is a good way to do it.
Someone comes to your house in real life and shoots you in the leg.
No, I honestly, so I've played a lot of really unfriendly video games that do this. For example, Escape from Tarkov. Now, Escape from Tarkov, the idea is if you die, anyone can loot everything on your body, and it's gone. But before you go into an Escape from Tarkov match, you can choose to insure individual items on you or your entire loadout, right? And then if you die and nobody loots what's on your corpse, you get it back. I would like Star Citizen to be a little more lenient than that, because Escape from Tarkov is too punishing. Like, you almost don't want to go on missions because, like, well, I've got this really cool thing, but I don't want to take it because if I die, it's gone. I just like to see them say you can, before you leave, grab all your stuff and pay to insure it. And then if you die, then at least when you respawn, you can reclaim everything you had on you when you left. Maybe you don't get anything that you got on the journey, but you can still get back what you had when you left. I think that honestly, that to me is the minimum. If they don't do that, it's not viable for single player gameplay. Period.
So,
Shiver? What did you say?
Oh, I really hope that with medical gameplay, with FPS gameplay, that you will be able to have this scene play out where you're in a firefight with someone and you've got someone injured behind you, someone's tending to him, and you can just hear all this, you know, I'm stabilizing him, or we need to get him out of here,
Yeah.
we need you to provide covering fire. Something. It's always been something that has been in cutscenes or things like that, or
Yeah.
simulated, but in a way that's not very engaging. Whereas Star Citizen has got that potential to you've got that drama, that tension of you need to make these quick moment decisions. You've got this fucking shit going on behind you. You want to pull out, but you can't pull out because you've got
Do you
five guys
try
all
and
around
heal
you
them
they're
right
not
there?
letting
Do you
you go.
drag them to safety and then heal them? Yeah. Eric, what were you going to say?
couple things. I think some personal responsibility is going to happen there. I do think that you need to kind of insure your shit before you leave. Like, there's going to be many different types of insurance available, and I think that's going to be one of them. But I don't think, because of the physicalized nature of items in the game, I think if you go out there and you lose your ship and you were on board and you died, you will lose all of that stuff. But if you insured it before you left, then you can claim insurance and get your ship back. I think that's how it's going to work.
I hope it does, and I think it has to work that way, because if you can't insure the stuff that you set out with, that's a big problem. Like, I like a lot about Escape from Tarkov. The weapon modification system is great, the atmosphere is great, the gunplay is great. But because of how serious it is, if you die, you might lose everything, and then all it takes is one hacker in a game, and okay, you've lost everything. Like, it's just, it's like, no, I'm just not gonna play it, right?
One of the symptoms in a great many MMOs is death happens on this. The consequences of death are on a sliding scale. Like, when you're just starting out, death is a major setback, and then as you are more experienced with the game, you don't care. So they need to negate. So no matter what, death is something to be aware of, something to be wary of. No matter how much UEC you've got, what items you've got, it needs to be something that always gives players that really incredible, oh, I don't know if I should jump in there.
And what, honestly, what they should...
It.
And I think the insurance system is a good way for them to do it, right? Because we already know for the insurance system, if you take your ship to a system that isn't insured, well, you're not going to get that ship back, right? It will set consequences for that, and it should be the same for your inventory.
There will be levels of insurance, so you could be like, I'm gonna buy the Cadillac insurance, the top tier, and I could fly my ship into a star, and they're still gonna give it back to me, you know. Like...
But then, just that on its own isn't going to entirely eliminate that sliding scale, because you could just be so rich that you're like, yeah, I'll get that top Cadillac insurance and everything. It's fuck all. There needs to be something else on there.
Well, I mean, that's where it comes into, like, your character slowly degrades, and then you have to create a new character. And you're like, well, fuck. And then they were talking about the inheritance tax, so then you lose, like, 50% of your shit if you have to create a new character. So, you know, there's all these... It does need to be complex, and I think they're going the right direction. But I agree, David, I would like to see more next week about exactly what the details are. I want to tell an anecdote.
Okay.
If that's okay. Very briefly.
I want to address Mud Trucker's comment after you're done.
I had a game of Apex, and Apex's healing mechanic is very simple, but it can be very intense at times. We had a game where I won a game with this group, and we had, I think, 6 or 7 times that we had to pull guys up off the ground. It was crazy. We were pulling guys off the ground and then, you know, firing desperately into this group of enemies, and then another person goes down and you're putting up shields and you're trying to get that guy. It was total chaos, and then we won at the end, and it was probably my favorite victory in that game because we were just like just this close to dying the whole time.
Yeah.
It was great. Anyway, Mud Truck up.
So Mud Trucker says, I'm hoping that insurance only gives you the money, not the equipment back. Shiver, I know you said that you agree. I don't.
Depends on what it is. I mean, if
so,
you have like an incredibly rare artifact, money's not going to help.
I think you need to, honestly, I think you need to have the option. Just because your basic equipment, I don't want to have to go and buy that every time. Like, just give me my suit and my gun and my shit back. Don't make me have to find a...
Mud Trucker are on the same wavelength here. Basic equipment, common equipment, you know, a bearing, off-the-shelf rifle. Yeah, whatever, get that back. But if you've done your own modifications to it, or if you found an incredibly unique item, then you're just going to get the cash value back. I mean, that's how it works in real life sometimes. If you've got this incredible car that's no longer being made, and it's a write-off, it's just a write-off. It's done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably a terrible example, because a write-off doesn't necessarily mean you can salvage the car of your own accord, but it's just not worth the money to salvage it, and you probably will. But
yeah,
I
I sort of hope
needs to be not easily replaced.
And I sort of hope that might come into the levels of insurance, right? Like, your low level insurance will just give you the cash for whatever you had. Your higher level insurance might give you the actual item you had back, you know, whatever. I want it to be a little easier. Getting things in Star Citizen, and this is probably, I mean, no, it's not probably good. It's definitely going to change. But for example, I have not yet gone and bought, you know, custom armor, custom weapons, even custom clothing, really, ever, because it's going to get wiped, and it's a pain to go and get it all, and then it's a pain to set it all up and use the inventory system, and then it's all going to disappear anyway, so what's the point? But I don't want that pain to go and set myself up with stuff anytime I die, because let's be honest, I'm going to die all the friggin' time. Like,
I actually don't think you are. I think death is going to be, like, actual death is going to be very rare in the game.
Yeah, but I'm a very
sure it does, don't worry.
I'm a very bad pilot. I'm gonna
stop
crash.
being a bad pilot.
No, Don't tell me how to live my life. There is something else I want to talk about.
Then hire a pilot who can actually fly.
No, I'm the captain of my own ship. I'll take my own life into my own hands. Thank you very
You're
much.
not the pilot.
Get good, scrub.
I want to talk about something else that's shown briefly in this series of clips, is the selecting your spawn location and where you respawn after death.
Yep.
So basically what they were saying is you respawn after death either at your home location that you select, so whichever landing zone you select as home, or on a ship that you own that has an appropriate medical facility.
Makes sense. That seems fine by me. I do think that they should expand that in the future to if you are in a party and one of your party members has a ship that has a hospital, that you should also be able to respawn there. If you have like an Endeavor Hope variant in orbit, you should be able to respawn at the Hope.
I think they ought to expand it even further.
Ooh.
So, I have an Endeavor Hope variant, right? Because I want to be a hospital. I think that's really cool. I would like to be able to park my Endeavor in, somewhat shady space, have some people around to guard it, make sure it's well guarded. But then I'd like to be able to sell the respawning facility of it, right? So you die, and you can say, I could respawn back at my home base, or there's this Endeavor here that
Or
will
pay
charge
10,000
me
UEC
that will charge me X amount, and I can respawn there, and I'm closer. I can, I think that would be really cool, and I think that would
100% think that's going to happen. But we're just not there yet, and I think that's why this is what we're seeing.
We're not there yet because we're like 3 to 7 years away from the Endeavor.
Did you say 37?
Yes.
No. The Endeavor will come eventually.
It's going to be one of the
That,
last ships, and it's going to be glorious because of it.
Yep. It'll have all the bells and whistles already.
Mud Trucker,
Yeah, you have to set on before death.
You do for now, but I honestly hope that they change that. Just because I would like the ability to, like, let's say you're out with a group of friends, like you're out by yourself, and you're about to head into a cave, and there happen to be some other people at that cave, and you join with them, and then you continue playing with them, and you party up, and you spend a while with them, and then you die, and they're like, we have this Carrick nearby, you can respawn there, and you're like, sorry, I respawn, all the way back at my home. It was nice playing with you.
I agree with you. I agree with you. They should be more flexible. I just don't think that. I just think they're putting it in now this way because it's how it will work in the near term, and it will change later.
Mud Trucker, you may.
Alex. Sorry.
Mud Trucker, you may be in an unconscious state, but the amorphous blob that is your new body, at what point does it become conscious? Maybe it's actually conscious before you die. Right? Because it's not like there's a time period between when you die and when your body wakes up. Right? So clearly there has to be another body ready for you at all times, ready to go. So maybe that other body is like, no, I'd like to be over here instead. Sorry, go ahead, Shiver.
They should do a Fifth Element 3D style 3D printing your body.
They should.
Only
if it's Lilu's body.
I'm not sure how to pronounce it, sorry. If you respawn on an Endeavor, how do you get to your ship? And I was wondering the same sort of thing as well. And the only thing I can think of at the moment, with the exception of hand, it is basically just fancy hand wavium of you were picked up by a roaming thing or something like that. But then that raises the question of, if you're out in unexplored space, how did you get back to the ship?
When you died, your suit set off a signal, and my Endeavor went and picked you up and respawned you at it. Like
They have to
I'm
gamify.
not
They
trying to
have-
be difficult. I'm just wondering, is this the equivalent of a plot hole kind of thing?
Yes.
Will we need to have? Will it be okay if we're in completely unexplored space, and you've got an Endeavor in orbit? You're the only person who's died, but you've still got players on the Endeavor. I'd be okay with, in your own headcanon, they've come down and got you, or something like that.
You should have
If-
angel drones on the Endeavor that go in, and when a suit sends out a signal that the guy's dying, and the drone comes out of nowhere and grabs you and takes you. There you go.
if CIG
The
are
thing-
okay
thing
with
is, though, if you're in this unexplored, in this exact same scenario, unexplored space, Endeavor, whatever, but you're the only player there, you've got NPC crew on there, how harsh are they going to be on your death then? Are you not going to be able to spawn on the Endeavor because there's no players, and then that's gone? Everything on that ship that you didn't have insurance on, everything on your person didn't have insurance on, all gone.
I don't have the answers for you.
I don't know.
And I'm glad I don't work at CIG to have to work that one out.
Look,
But
if
Honestly, I've had
here's-
that thought myself. Gameplay design would be interesting. I'll put it that way. Sorry, go ahead, David.
I was gonna say, if we get look, Star Citizen has made it to the point where ships can go to 0.99 of light speed. So they have already engaged in some levels of hand wavium.
Oh, there's lots of hand waving.
Just-
Less than most games. That's all.
Less than most games, but at some point, just wave the hand.
Yep.
Like just hand wave it. Just allow.
Yeah.
Who cares what the reason is? The reason is it would be a shitty game if we didn't.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Wow. Okay. haven't looked here
By the way,
recently.
anyone watching this, and especially these, don't click on profile for those people, because some of those things have IP grabbers or something. Apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting
What was
piece of
this,
news.
you know?
I don't talk a lot about this.
Twitch
Not
sucks
every
right
week
now.
anyway. What?
Twitch sucks right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeesh. Interesting little note. Since 3.14 went live, funding has been very strong for Star Citizen.
Good.
Like every day.
Zelix, even if you spawn back on the Endeavor, you're stuck there without your ship. How do you leave? Again, I think there's a couple of ways for them to do this, and I think the most expedient and the most reasonable is a little bit of hand wavium of you can respawn on the Endeavor, and you can pretend that in the time it took you to your body to respawn, one ship that you own that could actually fit into the Endeavor's docking bay can be there. You can spawn one of your ships that fits there, and take that and leave. At some point they have to do some hand waving. They
Yep.
just
Oh, for
have
sure.
to.
Mhm.
Because
I agree.
if they don't, it's not going to be any fun.
Or they can just put an ASUP terminal in the ship, and it just doesn't. It takes longer for it to work. Like, one of your ships has to fly there or whatever.
Or you can rent a ship from,
Or maybe you can rent a ship from the guy who owns the Endeavor.
who knows, right? They gotta do something though.
Can I have your crappy Aurora in the corner with the wings falling off?
Yeah, it's all yours.
It depends on how much insurance you paid. If you've paid the basic amount, they just open the airlock and push you through, and momentum carries you to the nearest habitable planet.
But, I mean, to be honest, they almost have to do this for the Endeavor. Because if they don't do this for the Endeavor, why would anyone ever respawn on your Endeavor? Like, what is the point of your Endeavor? What is the point of such a massive hospital ship for your couple of friends or if you can't open it up to more?
Yeah,
I
agreed.
suppose it comes down into the whole chain system thing. If you want to set up the Endeavor as this hospital endpoint, you're probably going to have an organization anyway, or at least a group of friends. It's like, okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to be the surgeon on the Endeavor. You deal with all that bullshit. My mate over here is going to be the taxi runner who does this and that, and you all get, you work out how much it's going to cost, or if you all charge something, or if you take a cut or something like that. Or even if you want to just say, I'm just the guy with the Endeavor, these people can set up their own transport, or I've got a deal with this organization who deal with just personnel transport, and so on and so on. It really comes down to how much CIG want people to put these systems in place themselves, or if CIG do want to just employ a quick hand wavium solution, or if they be both.
To be frank, there's already a system in the game to deal with it, which is Beacon. I need a ride.
Yeah. If you're going to be Frank, can I still be Shiv?
No. You're now Barbara.
Shit. Okay. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome. Dated a Susan once.
How'd that go?
Well, I'm with a Cassie, so.
Perfect response.
Thank you.
I like it. Oh boy. What's up next on Relay Station?
I don't even know.
Part 2.
I mean, we've made it to. We've talked about everything that was talked about in Star Citizen, or in Inside Star Citizen. God.
Yeah, you almost missed it.
But
You could go really far back and accidentally call it Wingman's Hangar.
that's that. I never watched Wingman's Hangar. I started with
No?
I started with Around the Verse.
Wow, you missed
That-
out.
Eric Peterson, everyone involved with Wingman's Hangar is a fucking treasure.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Wingman's nuts, yeah.
Wingman's nuts. Oh my god.
That was
I
a
love
moment you can look back on that really fondly and think, we had a much smaller community, and it was, oh look, you're back in chat, and you would have a catch. It was strange times, different times of.
Oh yeah.
Oh hi, you're in the chat. How are you?
Even Around the Verse was different times. Like it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or more Reverse the Verse. Reverse the Verse was.
Reverse the Verse was great. Yeah,
Oh
I
hey,
enjoyed it a lot.
it's what's his name? He's just stopping by to tell us a whole bunch of things he's not supposed to tell us, but he's going to anyway.
It was like being in an episode of Cheers. Norm.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Good times.
Not that there's anything wrong with what we have now. It was just different times. That's
Yep.
all.
Much smaller community.
This is the downside of the big run up to Citizencon. Of they're still giving us some good information, but this week there was no Star Citizen Life because they were filming in the Manchester office for Citizencon, and they
went overtime.
Went over, yeah, and so they didn't have enough time to do Star Citizen Lives that week.
But I mean, we are 1 month away from Citizencon, so this actually begs the question: what are we doing for Citizencon?
Hoping that I'm going to be back.
Shiver, are you in for streaming some of it?
What time is it? Because there's a little bit of a time
We don't know.
difference.
We don't know yet.
As far as I know, it's like all day Saturday.
depending on what works out time-wise, I can crawl onto the PC at like 7 o'clock in the morning, sellotape my eyes open, coffee in hand, and be like,
I don't even think it'll be
Fuck
7
you,
o'clock in
people.
your morning. I think it's going to be like midnight your evening.
that's what I'm.
Well, we
expecting,
actually,
stay out.
to be clear, we actually have no idea.
Yeah, it's true.
Like,
we don't know.
We don't know what time it's going to be, and it is all digital. They could just put the whole thing out at the same time if they felt like it.
We
But
could always, depending on how much we wanted to do it as well. I think we might have done it before, where we just split into different shows for different segments, and
We've done that before because in previous years they had multiple
segments.
things concurrently, and you had to choose which you wanted to see, and then we rewatched all the rest of them. This year they're not doing that. They're only doing, as far as I know anyway, I don't think there's a concurrent because they've only got one YouTube channel to put them on, right? So they're only doing one show at a time because nothing's live. So we're gonna have to see. I'm hoping that they release a schedule like this week because we kind of need to know. It's a month away, but anyway, I at least
next match to be late.
So I think we need to talk about. Jake would hang us by our toenails from the ceiling if we didn't talk about the roadmap changes this week.
Well, first, Mudtrucka asks, do we expect the next patch to be late?
No.
Yes.
Maybe.
We covered it
All
all.
the bases are covered. So now we can say we were right.
I really think they would love to have three. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I really think they want to have 315 out for Citizencon.
I think
Which
they
is-
want to, but I think they're going to have some problems with the health stuff, and it's going to be buggier than they hope, and it won't make it.
Go full send on it.
Honestly, I think in at least one sense it will be out. They may have to just go with the old, it's out for everyone on the PTU right now, and then hope to God that somehow they manage to get the patch in a state where it's playable for a free fly just after Citizencon with the new stuff, because that's generally what they like to do, I think.
I think Citizencon is going to be nuts, though. I think it's going to be fantastic this year, personally. But, Eric, yes, you said roadmap.
We need to talk about the roadmap.
I haven't even looked at it this week, to be honest. It's been a week.
So, to give you guys an idea of why I want to talk about the roadmap and why Jake told us to talk about the roadmap. To summarize, core gameplay teams, which are the actor feature team, the actor tech team, the weapon feature team, and the weapon content team, are shifting their focus to delivering their features for Squadron 42 first, before they are then released to the persistent universe. This has a twofold benefit. Squadron 42 will get additional resources, and the persistent universe will get features that are more complete. This does, however, make an impact to the release view of the roadmap. While some features may shift, it is important to remember that you can track progress on the progress tracker. Okay, so what that actually amounted to was 6 features were either moved or removed from the roadmap and the release view. FPS radar and scanning was moved to 3.18. Actor feature EVA tier 2. Interesting. Yeah, tier 2. Sorry, my brain just stopped for a second there. Actor feature team EVA tier 2. I think that was like the thruster packs and stuff while you're EVAing, and also being able to like grab and hold as you go across the hull of a ship, which is going to be really cool. Anyway. Unsurprisingly, that also goes along with 0G push-pull move to 3.18 and hacking as well. These features will, of course, as mentioned previously, be implemented for Squadron first before coming to Star Citizen. temporarily removed from the schedule so that they can later reschedule them are Cutting Tier 2 and Weapon Discharge and Drain Tier 0. So, those 6 features have seen some shuffling.
Can I just say? Oh,
Go ahead.
what's that, Shiver?
That's not too bad.
No, it wasn't too bad.
I literally don't care about any of that. You know why?
What's that?
Because I don't care how long any of it takes to hit Star Citizen. I would rather they put all of the resources on Squadron 42 because I think that's a lot more important right now. Everything that hits Squadron is gonna hit Star Citizen eventually. I would rather this all this is to me is really good news because it means that Squadron is getting to the point where they're like, no, we got this to finish, let's like polish it. And this means that they're going to polish and improve Squadron 42 a lot. Oh, Lady Space Patrol. No. Absolutely not. I respectfully 1000% disagree. I very respectfully 1000% disagree because single player games that have an excellent story and also feel good to play are, quite frankly, at this moment in time, basically restricted to the PlayStation 5. There's almost nothing that plays or feels or is as good as the single player experiences that are on PS5 on any other console. And I say
Console, don't know.
what?
Console? Oh, okay, don't know.
I know most people don't know, but how the insanely I can't even describe how good some of these games on console on PS5 feel because there is nothing on PC that compares.
Or very little.
Or
Disagree. It's very much a matter of opinion, though.
It is. It's 100% opinion.
I probably don't play the same sorts of games as you,
No.
but there's loads of great single-player games out on the PC. To this day, and there's loads of great single-player games on the PS5. There's loads of great games on whatever the new Xbox is. There's loads of great single-player games.
That's a very good way.
Shiver.
That's a very good way to describe the new Xbox. Whatever
No.
that
Shiver, the new Xbox is the PC.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So,
Game Pass.
I'm just gonna disagree with Lady Space Patrol because Squadron's, I mean, like 80% finished probably, and canceling it now would be kind of ridiculous.
Everything that gets everything that goes into Squadron, we will get in Star Citizen, but it's actually I honestly think it's better if it's brought up to the Squadron quality first before it hits Star Citizen, because Star Citizen gets a lot of stuff in Tier 0, stuff that's not quite working, and if it hits Squadron quality before it hits Star Citizen will actually get a higher quality product sooner. Go ahead, Shiver.
I can understand where Lady Space Patrol is coming from, and there's nothing wrong with that opinion whatsoever. But then there's also going to be at least as many people who would turn around and say, I wish they'd cancel Star Citizen because I only want the single player.
There's a lot of people who don't give two shits about Star Citizen. They want Squadron.
It is what it is, and I don't think that the development of Squadron is detracting from the development of Star Citizen, at least the way they're doing it. And it's always been something of a dream in the industry to be able to develop exactly this way, to be able to develop an MMO and the single player at the same time, and no one's that's not true either. No one's done it to this extent before, and so they are treading in a lot of new ground. And if either one is successful, then someone else can come along, look the problems that they've had and say, well, we can learn from that and we can do this.
Lady Space Patrol.
What's the other one?
Absolutely. Developments in each of them are helping each of them.
I agree.
And you will, and this is just me, but you will not see anything for Squadron 42 at this year's Citizencon. You will only see Squadron 42 probably at next year's Citizencon, which is, as far as I'm concerned, when they're going to announce Squadron 42. But you've got the same code base, same everything, same actors in some cases, but a lot of the tech that's being developed for the two games is working simultaneously, which is leading to a better game in both cases because CIG are taking less shortcuts. One of the things that actually increased the development times on Squadron 42 is that they developed procedural planets, which is going to be mainly used for Star Citizen rather than Squadron 42. But they developed it for Star Citizen, and then we're like, okay, let's go back and implement it in Squadron 42 as well. And it's gone both ways, right?
It's going to make Squadron a better game, I think.
Both games are going to be better from the things that they are learning from each other.
Yep.
Period.
And I actually think that one of the things that even the people who are playing Star Citizen may never, like, you might never play Squadron, you might never be interested in Squadron or want to play it, but I think that it will, from a purely business perspective, one of the ways they can keep Star Citizen rolling without having to charge players a lot of money for things is to continually roll single player experiences and sell them and then use the money they make off of them to make the whole thing continue going, you know?
And you tie it all into the same story. So when there's
you build stories, new stories.
But when you do a new Squadron story, that story ties into expanded content in Star Citizen.
Absolutely.
The expanded gameplay, expanded ships, all of them tie together, and it benefits because it's not like they're creating a completely separate game, because they're using all of the game mechanics and all of the tools together for both of them. It's a lot less difficult. Really what they have to do for Squadron 42 is a lot of the motion capture, which is used in Star Citizen, and a lot of the voice acting, which is not. But honestly, voice acting and that's a relatively small portion of game development, all things considered. So yeah.
It's
Go ahead.
Zelix makes a great point as well, actually. If Squadron can hit consoles, Star Citizen never will. If Squadron can hit consoles, which is very possible, that's going to make CIG a ton of additional money.
Oh yeah, sure it will. I have to say... Nope, go Shiver. Nope, go
Shiver. It's Shiver's turn.
No,
Shiver.
on, Eric.
Nope, Shiver.
Shiver.
They've got more creative freedom with a single-player game that you'll never be able to experience in the multiplayer either. This could be proof of concept for an entire franchise of, Star Citizen is the spearhead of the Star Citizen franchise. You've got Squadron 42, which is the UEE military experience, and then they could always do, this is the smuggler single-player experience, this is the alien single-player experience, and you as a player will never necessarily have that choice in a Star Citizen, because you're a Star Citizen. You are a citizen of the UEE, and that's how you start out. Whereas the single players, they can tell a specific story from a specific angle without crossing over too much.
Squadron 9, the RTS experience.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with the food truck experience.
That too. Sorry, Eric, you were saying?
And it's not an unheard of thing to have these franchises that just go in different directions but take different aspects of the same universe, so you can see this universe from different perspectives. Yeah.
Halo 1, 2, 3, 4,
like
ODST, Halo Wars.
Our friend Tyler Witkin made a very, very ill-advised bet today.
Oh no.
He tweeted, "Friendly bet. If the Argo Cargo beats the Carrick next round, I'll wear Argo-themed makeup and tweet a picture." That's how confident I am that in my Carrick smashing this thing to pieces in round 2. I'm sorry, Tyler, that you will have to wear Argo-themed makeup.
Are you though?
What's Argo themed makeup?
I have no idea, but
Orange.
it's going to be great. Oh, yeah, bright orange. Construction orange.
Hey, you
Dirt?
can get the same spray tan that Trump uses. So,
We're all thinking it. Thank you
I
for
know,
saying
I know.
it.
That Mud Truck has said it too.
Yeah.
Also, I do want to clarify, Lady Space Patrol. Thank you for bringing it up because I do love talking
absolutely.
about that. It's a great like.
Thank
Gets
you.
us, it gets us excited. So thank you for bringing that up.
Also, I want to see. They had so many great actors in Squadron that had their whole roles played out. I want to see those performances personally. From Mark Strong and Gillian Anderson and Mark Hamill and
Honestly,
like-
LSP. I think the best
Thinking
way.
outside the box there.
I think the best way to tell the Tavaran War would actually be not as a single player experience, but as an RTS.
ooh, that would be cool.
You're talking about an entire war, not like one front of the war like Squadron 42 is going to be, but can you imagine like the full war commanding armies in various I think that would be really, really cool. Yeah, an asymmetrical RTS or like a 4X even. A story
That would be
driven
really
4.
cool.
I don't know. I think there's so much they could do there.
It's a brilliant example and way to think outside the box there of being able to tell stories from the past that you would only have read about. It's that's a cool idea.
I really
Give
like that
person
idea.
a job.
But you know what? You know what it reminds me of too is I really like when you see universes from other perspectives. One of them that I really loved, and not everyone agrees with this, but so I recently, I guess I shouldn't say recently, but last year I think, read all the books that are currently out for A Song of Ice and Fire and everything I can get my hands on, by George R. R. Martin. And one of the things I really liked was a book called Fire and Blood. I think. Yes, it is. And the way it's written, so he's written so much about the history of the world that he was writing about. He wrote this book, and it was a history of the Targaryen family. But it was written from this perspective of like it's a history. It's not a novel like the other books are.
the
It is. I have never read the Silmarillion, but is that how it's written? As like a history?
I've never
Instead?
read it. I've only read about it.
Okay, there you go. But the way it's written is it's a maester of the Citadel writing a history of the Targaryen family, and that's the perspective you come at it from, and it's really cool from a like purely world building perspective. It was really neat. And I love when that's done. And Halo's a really good example because they managed to make. They had this great series of FPS games, and then they made really good RTS games as well, all in the same, and they could tell the stories differently. That's awesome.
I love how we're all thinking about this, and it's like they haven't released a single fucking game yet.
They haven't, but
They need to hurry up.
they do. And I just put this in chat, but I want to talk about it anyway because I'm actually really excited by the idea. But like, imagine if after Squadron came out while they're making their next game, instead of doing full on like 2030 like full on game experiences for these other ideas we're having, what if they did shorter ones, right? More contained, like a 6 to 10 hour RTS campaign using Star Citizen lore and Star Citizen ships that encompasses the Tavaran War, right? It doesn't have to be as full, as fleshed out as a full RTS game, but something that can do both be a proof of concept and potentially be released as, you know, a $20-$30
Interactive
add-on.
novels.
Why not? Why not an
Because
adventure?
they're very unpopular.
No, but why not an adventure game that leads you through the Messer Revolution?
That'd be so cool. A lot of these
Constitutes
ideas would be so
adventure
cool.
game these days, you know. So you say adventure game, my mind immediately goes to point and click, like
Yes.
Monkey Island.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Why not an adventure game set in like early Messer area or late Messer area when the Messers get, you know, done away with? Why not? Like, there's all these things that they've got such a broad history that they've developed for this universe. Why not explore it? And why not explore it in short, easily digestible things? Like a 2-hour adventure game, right?
You know what I want?
I'm not going to say what you want because it can't be said in polite.
Apart from that, I'm related directly to Star. No, that doesn't help level it down.
No, it doesn't narrow it down at all,
You might
Shiver.
be wrong. The TTRPG. Where's my SC TTRPG? That shouldn't take too long to develop, right?
I mean, you'd have to build stats for every single ship. It'd be great.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But there's so much lore that they have made to this that it lends itself to all sorts of different genres that aren't even necessarily just video game based.
Yep.
I agree.
I seem to remember, and this is something that they put out there a long time ago, and I haven't heard it or seen anything of it, but I thought at one point they were actually searching for authors to write some Star Citizen novels, like books.
I remember that.
Books in the Star Citizen universe. Whatever happened to that?
It
Well, I
went
mean,
away.
there's EVE Online books, and they were actually quite good. Some of them, I have to say. So,
I think
why not?
I think you could easily make some
The
pretty
guy-
great novels in Star
The guy
Citizen.
that wrote Mass Effect wrote a series of novels, and they were absolutely atrocious, but they still sold. Oh, they were
Is
they
that
were
what's important?
they were among the worst novels I've ever read in my life.
Oh my god.
But I still
Have you
bought
read
them.
Twilight?
I have not. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I just want to get an idea of the
No.
base comparison level here.
No, I have not.
Sorry, what were you asking?
If he's read Twilight.
The worst novel I've ever written, actually, and the only novel I've ever picked up and then not finished, is actually The Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams. Which is apparently lauded as one of the best fantasy novels, and I just wanted to light it on fire and throw it in the garbage.
Anybody here read Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett?
No.
Very good book, I have to say. But he is not nice to his characters, and I'm not talking like it's like Souls-like bad. Like he's not nice to his characters, and it wasn't so bad in Pillars of the Earth. It was tolerable, but it bothers me. But he wrote, like, many years later, he wrote a sequel to Pillars of the Earth, and he like super cranked up how much he was just torturing his characters in the book, and I just didn't like it. It bothered me. It physically made me emotionally like I just didn't want to read it, and so I stopped reading it, and that was it.
I saw...
book I ever read was Hannibal Rising by Thomas Harris, and I'd read all the other Hannibal Lecter books up to that point. And
Okay.
he was basically forced into a corner with Hannibal Rising because they said, "We want to make a film. Will you write it?" And he was like, "No, I've told my story." "Well, we're gonna make the film. Do you want to write the book?" And he was like, "I would rather write the book than you get some random cunt to come in and write it." And you can tell as you're reading that book that he's fucking hating this because it's like he was forced to give an origin to Hannibal Lecter, to put a method to this madness, and it was like that was never the point of the character. He just wanted to be this force that you make it up, and that added to the character. You never knew why he was like this, and he made the best with what he could, but you could tell he was just fuck you, Paramount, or whoever it was that made Hannibal Rising.
I read a review of someone's book recently. I didn't read the book, but the review was something like, this book tore at my heartstrings, ripped them out, cut them into pieces, ground them into the dirt, and then shoved them back into me, and then tore them out again. And my heart is just in tatters, and I love it. Give me more. And I'm like, no, I don't want that in my fiction. I want to escape from that in my fiction. Thank you very much. But
then it gives consequence, and you don't two things. It doesn't make you feel like, oh well, this is obviously the hero, he's going to survive or whatever. It does give that feeling of that this is a truly dangerous environment when it happens. But I still cry when Optimus Prime dies, and that was a bad decision. He should never have fucking died. And then they brought him back as a fucking evil zombie, and then he died again. And it was like, fucking really? And then they finally brought him back properly, and then Japan got hold of the cartoons and fucking killed him again.
To me, it literally doesn't matter. The perfect fiction is Discworld, which it doesn't matter if everyone survives, because the point isn't that you're supposed to be invested in the characters and worried about them. The point is that you're just supposed to enjoy the journey that they're on and learn something from it. And that, to me, is the best fiction there is. With that, look at the time, gents. We've actually reached the end of our show. I mean, to be fair, we stopped talking about Star Citizen the last 10 minutes, but...
yeah, because we started off talking about Star Citizen and not ramen at all.
I never said that we did. Hey, this was a blast. Thank you, gents, and thank you to everyone watching us. Quite frankly, yeah, thank you. Sugar, what have you got going on this week?
This week, oh shit. This week's my busy week. We've got London by Gaslight over on twitch.tv/Table of Horrors, V5 VTM game. It's probably going to be a little spicy this week. And then the day after, we've got our modern day VTM V5 Chronicle with someone I think very highly of, hopefully joining for that episode and becoming a recurring character. I'd also like to say that those of you that are of a certain age and you miss a certain transforming cartoon, if you go over to Hasbro Pulse YouTube channel, you can watch Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3 of the Transformers for free, legally.
Nice.
Ooh, that's cool.
Because it's in celebration of the movie's outreach, the 35th anniversary this year. And I now have about 5 copies of the fucking movie. And next week on the show, I may show you something incredibly stupid that I bought.
I'm excited to see that. I will admit, I've never seen the movie.
It's literally the best movie that humanity has ever made.
Hot Fuzz.
It's got everything.
Hot Fuzz.
Except comedy. Okay, it's the best non-comedy movie that humankind has ever made.
See, that's where Hot Fuzz gets you, because Hot Fuzz is the best.
You should never have claimed anything about movies, because David will just tell you that Hot Fuzz is in every single genre, and then it all just goes away.
But it is.
Transformers movie is the best Transformers movie that humankind has ever made.
I will. Sure, I'll give you that one.
It's the best cartoon movie that has ever been made by humankind. Ahaha!
I mean, there. Oh crap! What's the name of that one? Titan AE. I loved Titan AE.
Don't encourage him, Sagareth.
But it is. Hot Fuzz is the best horror movie, the best action movie, the best buddy cop movie, the best romance, the best car chase movie. It's the best movie with a goose. It's the best science fiction movie. It's the best fantasy movie.
I've got it.
Nakara, what have you got on this week?
I mean, same
Tuesday.
thing as every week. Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we are doing the Unnamed Game Show. Should be fun. Let's do it. Let's unname some games.
And then come back next week, same time as right now, for this again. Yeah, we'll see you there. Thank you, everyone. And I hope you all have great weeks. Please, everyone, stay safe. And depending on where you live in the world, if there are any elections coming up, please vote with the environment in mind, because we are in the middle of a climate crisis. Good. We are in the middle of a climate crisis, and we've got, 5 to 10 years to do everything we can to solve it. Or our children and grandchildren are all going to die in a fiery hell pit with absolutely no plant or animal life left, because we're gonna fuck over the planet. Yeah. I'm voting on the 20th.
You would make a very talented preacher.
Fire and hellscape!
He was the only man who could ever reach me.
LSP, good on you for voting. Thank you. Seriously, it's voting is our only way to affect the democracies in which we live in. Those of us that are lucky enough to live in democracies, and honestly, we should be lucky for it, because it could be a lot worse. So yeah, please do vote whenever you get the chance. Exercise that right. It's important. And do everything you can to save the environment, because it's the only one we've got. The planet, honestly, the planet's not going to give a shit if we're all dead. It's going to keep on spinning in circles around the sun for several billion years without us. But us, on the planet, living on it, we need to care about it, because...
Yeah, that's the thing, too. It's not about the planet.
No.
It's about saving it so that we can still live here.
Yes.
Everything else would... Like, we could all die, and then the Earth would take, like, a million-year break, and then be like, okay, we're going to try some other species now.
Look, we all die. The cockroaches are just going to start up the next intelligent civilization.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, I'm okay with that. They might be better, might take better care of it than we have.
Nah, cockroaches are assholes.
So are humans!
Yep.
Clearly. Oh yeah, Sargareth, yeah, the ants are everywhere, man. Alright. Love you all.